Hello, I am Lucy Strange. I'm a children's author. This is a video just for teachers and perhaps parents and home educators as well. This one's just for grown-ups. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about some of my Barrington Stoke books. Barrington Stoke is a wonderful, super accessible publisher of children's books that you might have heard of. They are now part of the HarperCollins family of publishers. And I'm going to be telling you a little bit about these books today. So they are, if you have confident readers, they might still fancy reading a nice short book every now and then. It can be, sometimes I find that really confident readers sometimes can get a bit fatigued from reading lots of bigger, longer novels. They might sometimes fancy something a little bit shorter in between those bigger ones. But they are particularly fantastic, of course, for children who are not yet confident readers. They are much, much shorter. While most middle grade novels are between 40 and 60,000 words long, Barrington Stoke books are between sort of 7 and 10,000 words, much, much shorter. A lot of your students would be able to read these in an evening or a couple of evenings, and that gives them the most wonderful feeling of satisfaction and pride as well, really. I honestly think, and this is not an exaggeration, that these books, I think, can change children's lives. They can change the way that they see reading and the way that they see themselves, whereas perhaps they might have seen reading previously as something that other children do. It can help them to see them to change their identity and to see themselves as being successful readers um, and confident readers and readers who enjoy books. It's they're most fantastic things. So they are not only short books in themselves, but the chapters are short, which gives you that lovely feeling of momentum. It makes you really feel like you're getting somewhere quickly, which is fantastic. Um, they are fully illustrated, which really helps a lot of readers moving on from chapter books into middle grade, which are very often just sort of big chunks of prose without illustrations. So it can be a really lovely sort of transition step towards those bigger middle grade novels as well in that way. And of course, the illustrations really help them with their interpretation of the text too. They're printed on off-white paper and with a dyslexia friendly font, which is so much better and so much clearer and easier to read. It's all about like removing as many barriers as possible for children. Obviously, they're fantastic for children with dyslexia or children with Erland's syndrome, children who've struggled just with their confidence reading. They're also, I think, really good for children who have English as a second or third language. Um, I've got this little collection of historical mythical mashups with Barrington Stoke. So we've got The Mermaid in the Mill Pond, which is about a girl called Bess who works in a cotton mill during the Industrial Revolution. The Storm and the Minotaur, which is about a boy who works in a coal mine. This is inspired by the true story of the Huskar Pit disaster in Yorkshire. And this one, The River Spirit, which is about a boy who's a chimney sweep. And again, this is inspired by the true story, life and death of a boy called George Brewster, who was a Victorian chimney sweep. So they've all got a bit of history. They tie in really nicely with that Key Stage 2 curriculum to do with the 19th century, the Victorians, the Industrial Revolution, that kind of thing. And there are some fantastic free resources that Barrington Stoke have created that you can find here on the HarperCollins Book Squad website. And let me also just tell you about this one. So these ones, the age-wise, I would say any Key Stage 2. But this one is a new one, The Boy at the Window. It's a standalone story. It's a ghost story. It is, I would say, probably for a little bit older, just because it actually is really quite a scary story. Ghost stories, the gothic genre, horror, I know is really popular amongst young readers at the moment. There's a real appetite for it, which is fantastic. Again, though, this ties in really nicely if you're studying ghost stories as a unit or the gothic genre. I would say Key Stage 3 or upper Key Stage 2, it works really beautifully. One of the things, I'm an ex-teacher, by the way. I was an English teacher for 15 years. So one of the things that I love about these books, Barrington Stoke books in general, is that you can read them within a few lessons. You can actually fit them very easily into that curriculum time. And I remember the frustration of trying to get through a whole novel as well as doing the assessments and everything else that's fun along the way too. So it is it's a ghost story. It's written in the tradition of a Victorian ghost story with a super spine-chilling twist at the end. I had lots of fun. I'm a big fan of the Gothic genre and always loved teaching it. So I had lots of fun with Gothic conventions in this story. There are some fantastic free resources for this online as well. We've got discussion questions for you to look at with your class. We've got some really good reading activities and some creative activities too for them to inspire them to write their own super spooky stories. So I hope you enjoy some of those. I hope your students, your young readers will enjoy them too. And happy reading. Thank you. Bye bye.